Fantastic. I want you to turn to your neighbor to your left and to your right and say, we want to talk money. We want to talk what? I am here with Steve, and I'm glad that this conversation is coming at a very sensitive time. A couple of weeks ago, we all were, let me not say all. Many of us turned up in the streets for maandamano. Anguka nayo. How many went for maandamano? Fantastic. I was there. I'm Stari Wamvele, reject finance bill. And all this is just to say that I am glad that the Gen Zs were at the forefront of this, and this means that young people are getting woke every day. Young people are getting more knowledgeable and enlightened. And this is making you powerful. And we saw the sensation that this drove in our country and across the borders. So, Mr. Aweru, my first question to you is, most of us are at entry levels at our jobs and probably transitioning through uni, getting to the workplace. So how is it that somebody can build wealth and get into investments at entry level?
Thank you so much for that question. In answering this, I will draw some things from my life experiences, and some of those things are to the effect that I am smack in the middle of my 20s. So I have some experience on what is happening with you guys, with most of us in our 20s. So to answer this, one, it is true that the economy is very erratic, really erratic, but you have to realize or understand where you are at. So to start making wealth or creating wealth, I think the first thing you need to do is assess your situation, current situation. What is your situation as far as money is concerned? Because different people have different issues. For example, someone here in their 20s have what we would call an income problem. That means whatever money they are making is too little for them to survive with or to start creating wealth or investing that money. Another person has what we call a saving problem. It means you have enough money, you have money, but you don't have the discipline to start saving or to start investing so that you can go ahead and create generational wealth. Finally, there's a spending problem. Now that is a matter of discipline. The two, the spending problem and the saving problem, are usually matters to do with discipline. And I know everyone here can attest to having had a struggle with discipline as far as financial management is concerned. So assess where you are, and from there you will start making the decisions on what you need to do. So some of the three things that we tell people, actionable things that you can start today. Number one, pay yourself first. From whatever income you are earning, pay yourself first. The founder of Centonomy Limited is called Washeke Ndwati. I know most of you know Washeke. She challenges people and asks, whose factory are you building? So when you get money and the first thing you do is pay your rent, you're building the owner of the property you are living in, that's the factory you're building. If you spend X amount on KFC, that's the factory you are building. So who's building yours? Yeah, and someone said an amount of what I earn is mine to keep. So you should keep what you think is yours to keep. You should determine a certain amount that goes into savings and investments that is for you to keep. So there's some people who give numbers. Some will say save 20%, save 30%. But at Centonomy, we are deliberate about goal-based saving. And I like the fact that we started with something on goals, strategy. So according to your goals and position in life, what do you think is enough for you to start saving? For some people in your 20s and you have enough income, you can save up to 50%. So if I come here and tell you to save 20%, just save 20%, that will be the wrong thing to tell you, yeah? So depending on where you are, pay yourself first, determine what amount you want to build towards your future to start creating that generational wealth. The second thing is track your spendings. Sometimes it's end month, you don't realize where your money went, you just, pesa imeenda wapi wa, like you are weighing all the way to the bank and waiting for the next
on first and on sixth you're broke.
Exactly. You paid the bills and you have literally nothing. For some people, they even depend on debt, and we have that is a problem that capitalism has solved. Right now, if you want money, you will get it. You just need to download an app, give them some information, and pop, you have money, which is really bad. and I know we'll talk about that in terms of spendings, like how do you tackle debt? So you find people having to take debt because they don't understand where their money goes. So track your spending, and from what you've tracked, you'll be able to come up with a proper budget. Now, most people fear budgets because they feel it's a restriction. It's imprisoning myself. What do you mean that I have to follow something and I'm the one who works? So we say, think of a budget as a spending plan. You're giving your money a job description. You're telling your money that you, 10%, will go to charities or tithe or black tax. You, 30% will go into my education. So I'll start saving for my education. For example, if I want to go for my master's right now by saving 30%. So think of it as a spending plan. And finally, we say focus on assets. Now, focusing on assets means focus on things that will put money in your pocket. Now, as a 20-year-old, you are your biggest asset. Note that. You are your biggest asset. So the best thing you can do for yourself right now is to start making this asset bring back as much as it can. How do you do that? By upskilling. Something that has been mentioned here by previous speakers, upskill, upskill, upskill. Whatever career you are in, is that where you want to be? If yes, go get that master's, go get those professional certificates or any other certifications that you need. If you are not comfortable with where you are, and it's okay, because this is the period of exploration, you are supposed to be thinking about what you want. If that's not it, explore further. Identify exactly what it is that you want and go work towards building yourself to have the capacity to handle whatever job that you want in the future.
Fantastic. So give your money a job description. You know, Stephen Waweru works at Centonomy as head of learning. How many of us have heard about Centonomy? Fantastic. So you are well equipped and getting the knowledge. So he started at intern level and now he sits at management level. And that is how he's here, equipped with so much knowledge. In the previous panel and our previous speaker, we've talked about strategies and habits and all that. What I want to ask you is, what are some of the habits that young people can form right now that will help them grow into financial freedom and just be better financial managers?
Okay, so I think to answer that, financial management boils down to habits. What do you do every day? When you wake up, what's the first thing that you do? You know, like, for some people, you go online and start looking for things on Jumia or online, and you'll find yourself spending the money. So some of the things that you can do, some of the habits that we can develop include, one, in the saving and investing, automate. Financial discipline can be a struggle for most people, so automation helps us avoid that struggle. So for most people, especially if you earn a paycheck, like you earn a salary, you can put an automation such that on a certain date, say, for example, at Centonomy, we're paid by the 24th. So on the 26th, when the money has reflected in my account, I have automated such exactly standing orders. Yeah, so that money will go to a specific account that is for a goal that I'm working towards. So goal-based saving, you have come up with your goal and you have determined that I want X amount in a certain account for my education or for my marriage, for those people who are figuring out marriage right now. So automate. Number two, avoid bad debt. This is the worst place at 20s. It is the worst age at which you can take debt, because debt will suffocate your financial capabilities if you get it right now. Now, we like to differentiate debt because not all debt is bad debt. Yeah, there's good debt and there's bad debt. What differentiates it? What you use it for. Just like fire. It can be good, it can be bad. So if you are to use debt, use it on assets, something that will, in the end, put money in your pocket. And we said, if you're maybe taking help is good debt, yeah, if you really need it, for example. Another habit I think we need to work on, we can work on as young people, is, I'm looking for the perfect word to describe this, but delayed gratification. Yeah, some people, I have people my age, people I went to school with, people I have been roommates with who are driving an actual person who is driving a BMW, yeah? And I can look at my paycheck and see if I organize very well with my bank manager, I can get a loan and get a car such that akitokea mahali, yeah, I'll also have something, you know.
Exactly.
Because, yeah, why am I coming with an Uber or Matatu when my former roommate, and it's been 2 years or something, is coming in with a Beamer, yeah? So delayed gratification, there will be a time for you as long as you keep working on yourself and working towards your goals. And everyone's timelines are different. Yeah, you have to realize that not all fingers are the same. Like, I hated my primary teachers for telling us this, but I will have to use it. Apologies. All fingers ziko in one hand, they serve the same purposes, but hazitoshani, they're not on the same level. So just work, build, but don't over-compare yourself to others. Take it as a challenge. Ask yourself, what are they doing right that I am not? And work towards that. But by all means, don't take debt to match up.
A round of applause for him, please. So, Stephen, in this day and age with social media, we all want to look good. Just the way you're saying, we all want to appear and look good and fit in. You're talking about delayed gratification, all right? That means the little that you have to channel it in a proper direction. How many of us in this room have any form of investment? No, push it all up. Any investment. Okay, fine, the people at the front. Gen Zs, uko nyuma, fantastic. So I think the term investment and buying land and all that sounds very ambiguous, especially for Gen Zs who are just starting out and barely can meet ends, you know, especially in our country where people are really complaining about tough financial times. So what are the ways that we young people can start making investments and investments that will help us in the long run?
All right, as far as investments are concerned, number one, I mentioned goal-based investments. So what are you investing towards? Now, primarily, we can divide all investments into 3 goals. The first one is capital preservation. You want to put your money there today and find it tomorrow, yeah? The second thing is income. You want to put your money somewhere where you'll be earning something continuously. So, income. Number 3 is capital growth. I want to put my 1 million and get it at 1.5 million in maybe 1 year, 2 years, 5 years or something. So, based on the 3, look at what you want. Do you want income? Do you want to preserve that capital for probably something else in the future? Or do you want to grow that capital? So determine what you want from that. So there are some avenues for people, especially of small means, you know, like when you are starting your job, you don't have that financial muscle to go buy a treasury bill for 100K or an infrastructure bond for 100K. There are some avenues that you can exploit to start building up towards the high capital investments. So one example is money market funds. So MMFs is what most people refer to them as. There are some that you can invest as low as 500 shillings. Yeah. So you open an account. Okay, a money market is essentially, Washeke calls it a sophisticated chama. It's you, the other person, and the other one bring money together. They give it to a fund manager. A fund manager is a person whose daily job is to wake up and find investments for your money and come give you some part of the interest that they have gained. Yeah. So money markets operate that you can open an account for maybe about 1,000 shillings, and then you continue topping up, maybe in 500s. There are some also for 100 shillings. You can top up 100, 100, 100. So you can make it a goal and start building like that. And then there are some that are even like available on phone. You don't need to speak to anyone. You just download an app, but check for its regulation because this is Nairobi and mchezo wa town. Yeah, we all understand mchezo wa town, and you can get yourself in some scams. just be careful about that. So money market falls in something we call unit trust funds. So under unit trust funds, there are the money markets, there are bond funds, mutual funds, and several other things that you can invest in, vehicles that have been established by fund managers that you can start building wealth from as early as now. And there are more apps. Okay, let me mention this. You need to really be willing to consume information. Just go into, for example, the CMA website, just look at some of the avenues that are provided, some of the money markets, financial reports, just to understand how the economy is behaving and how financial instruments are giving back to people. And from there, you'll be able to understand that, for example, right now I am building towards investing in a bond, for example. So I'll put money, say 1,000 every week, until I have 50K that I can invest in a bond. Then when that time comes, I can withdraw the money from the money market fund and put it in a bond. So all it takes is appreciating the small steps. Investment is a journey. You don't become wealthy one day. You can become rich one day. You can get 1,000,000 shillings, but wealth is created in a step-by-step kind of thing. So be willing to delay the gratification, automate, and look at some of the low cash investments that you can invest in.
You know, one thing I love about what Stephen has said, there's been a mention of 100 shillings, 500 shillings. Comrades who are here, there's this thing called smocha. Nana just smocha. If you sit down and track your expenses, and this is a habit I started last year, literally every day, to the cent that I used on airtime, and on fundraisers, and on bus fare, I literally started tracking down my finances. And when you get to the bottom of it, you realize some things are very unnecessary. And let me tell you, time is a great determining factor. Some of these conversations sound very ambiguous right now, but we are young, yes, but we really do not have time. In the next 10 years, by the time you'll be looking back, all these investments will have taken a different turn. So all this to say, we have the opportunities right now, and I want to applaud you for coming for this conference today, because this means you're coming out to seek information, you're coming out to get empowered. So when you get empowered, the big difference that will be made is, will you execute or will you remain as you are? So lastly, as we wind up this conversation, we've talked about accountability partners. And right across life, with relationships and education and everything, we tend to have accountability partners. And I think this is a key contributing factor also with finances. So I don't know, what are the key factors that one should look out for when they want to choose a financial manager? This could be an institution, this could be an individual, this could be, I don't know, a startup company. So what are the key factors that we should look out for when choosing some of these financial managers?
Awesome. So whenever you want to invest, the very first thing that we say, regulation. Ensure that whatever company you want to invest in is regulated by the specific body that they need to be under. For example, for money markets or unit trust funds, they're supposed to be regulated by CMA. That's the Capital Markets Authority. Make sure that it is regulated by the body. If it is SACCOs, for example, which is also a place where if you're looking into, for example, the people who want to go into business, SACCOs would be a good place because after saving for, say, 6 months, you're able to get a loan to start a business if you have a proper plan. Because just taking a loan to go start a business because you think it will work is not always the best idea. And that's a whole discussion. But yeah, so whenever you're considering, say, SACCOs, ensure it is regulated by a body called SASRA. If you're looking for even banks, they are regulated by CBK because there are some startups, financial institutions that will just come and they're probably not regulated. So number one, regulation. It's what they call fiduciary responsibility, that they have the power, one, from the government endorsed body to take care of your money or to manage your money. And two, they have a responsibility towards you. Number two, compatibility of your goals. Yeah. So are they giving you a solution that you want? You don't just get into a money market because it's a big thing in Kenya right now, because everyone is talking about MMFs. Is MMF the best thing for you? Because you can't park, say, 1 million in an MMF for 2 years. I don't think that's the best financial move, because there are better avenues like government bonds or treasury bills which will give you better returns. So is it the best instrument for you? Are your goals and whatever their solution they're providing compatible with whatever you're looking to do? The next thing you need to check is their experience. How long have they been there? Because sometimes for most startups, it could be problematic. I don't want to say a politically wrong statement, but look at the experience. How have they been performing over time? Have they been over the inflation rate in terms of the returns they're giving you? Those are some of the things that you can check out for. Whenever looking to go into like high risk, if it's a high risk, you have to understand that you have the capacity to, say, lose that amount of money. Because for high risk investments, we say the higher the risk, the higher the potential returns. Sometimes people will tell you the higher the returns, but that's a marketing language. Yeah, I'll tell you the higher the risk, the higher the returns, but there's a chance that you will lose that. So are you willing to lose that money? Yeah. So yeah, I think that those are some of the things that you can check out for. Of course, there's the one that everyone goes for, which one has the highest rate. But that is risky. So for example, in terms of, let me use an example that we are all familiar with, money markets, because it's something every Kenyan is looking at right now. If you want to invest in a money market, you look at the rates that they're giving you. And if you realize that the rates are probably higher than whatever treasury bills are returning, it may bring you to ask some questions, because essentially money markets or unit trusts invest their money that you've given them in treasury bills or corporate bonds. They are short-term or fixed income, yeah? So they negotiate with banks. So if they are giving you higher interests than the interest that the treasury bills are giving at that point in time, you know, there are some questions. So where are you investing my money? Does that mean that you're investing my money in a place that's high risk? Does that mean that I could lose my money, yeah? So those are some of the questions that you need to ask, and do your due diligence. Always do your due diligence. Don't just go blindly, because sometimes we sign papers and come back to, they come back to haunt us. So due diligence, read the fine print, and just to make sure that they are regulated. If nothing else, like if your due diligence will not contain anything else or entail anything else, make sure you check for regulation.
Fantastic. Let's give him a round of applause, please. By show of hands, how many of you came here to connect? This is a very good connect. All those jargons he's using, money market, I don't know what, please get his number before you go home so that he can give you more insight on that. And then 10 years from now, you'll be a millionaire. It's as simple as that. It started from here, thanks to Renee. I think I will, sorry.
Before you go, there's something you've mentioned, it's triggered something. Someone said the best time to plant a tree was 10 years ago. The next best time is today. Now, so if nothing else, just open that money market fund, if nothing else, or just start that investment that you want to start. There's something they call compound interest. Someone says, Albert Einstein said that it's the 8th wonder of the world. The best thing about investing, say, 1,000 per month right now is in 20 years, the amount of money that it will have given you will probably be more than someone who's starting it at 40 and putting even probably more money than you are. Yeah, like there are those calculations that you can check online where you can put 1,000 getting a mere 10% interest and see what that will mean in 10 years. Sometimes you are eating your next holiday or your next plot or your next big investment kwa Smocha pale or in any other cash, disposable cash.
Fantastic. Allow me to only take one question from the audience.
My name is Deborah Morandia. I'm in my early 20s. CEO NutriDiet KE, Nutrition Clinic. and I run a mental health burdens reclamation initiative. I have a question on behalf of Gen Zs here, because we're having a conversation for Gen Zs. So, we've talked about financial development and how we're going to navigate through adulting, because it's a phase. I'd like you to touch, because you're Gen Zs, I would like you to touch on the part where we have psychological or mental input in probably the investment plan, or you want to grow your business, owing to the fact that in your early 20s, you're also in your psychological development journey. So how are you going to develop that neuroplasticity? Because you have your emotions put in, you have other things, and it's also a phase you're going through. So how are you going to balance this? Plus, most of the Gen Zs also put that in with academics. So the balance between academics, mental health, and the financial aspect of early 20s. Thank you.
Okay. So I will extend even more broadly to some of the things that we need to do in this age to stay okay mentally. And that includes breaks, enjoyment, sherehe, having fun, yeah? So let me start with, when we mentioned about budgets, in your budget, include an item for mental wellness. What do you like doing? What do you like doing? What do you do when you feel overwhelmed? Because it is a serious discussion. Sometimes, for example, the last 1 week I've been working overtime. Like, I get myself going back home at 9, yeah? And at some point you feel, I really need to relax, I need to take a day off. So look at that thing that works for you. For some people, it's road trips. For others, it's meeting with friends. For others, like, it depends on who you are and what you value, your preferences. Make sure there's a budget line for that. For most people, we assume that a budget is supposed to just have the essentials, rent, bills, food, etc. And we forget your item, ya sherehe. That item, ya enjoyment, make sure it's there. Secondly, investing needs not to be emotional. Now, sometimes you're not sure what you will spend your money on, and you find yourself, whenever you have the cash, like it's with you, you are likely to spend because you're with your friends and the emotional aspect is coming up. So you can't be the downer, yeah? You can't be the non-life of the party, the death of the party or something, whatever we want to call it, yeah? So you will find yourself probably spending money just to match up or to fit in, yeah? Or fulfill whatever emotions you're feeling at that point. Some people do retail therapy. So understand what your problem is as far as emotional spending is, and some of the ways that you can do to control that is putting money away, making sure you don't have that liquid cash with you at that point. And that's why I mentioned back to MMFs, because most MMFs won't give you your money immediately, yeah? They'll give you your money after 2 days. So before you think of that hassle, you won't have spent that money, as long as it's for a certain goal, yeah? But if it was meant for that purpose, then it is for that purpose. I don't know whether I answered your question as you, okay.
Probably let me just add on that as we wind up. To whom much is given, much is expected. This generation is a generation that has been given so much in terms of technology, in terms of knowledge, in terms of information. Ask yourself, what do you use all these tools to do? Number 2, give yourself grace, be patient with yourself. Comparison is the thief of all joy. This is a generation that is facing so much mental health, and it's because there's the power of social media and so much comparison is going on. That will throw you to an early grave. Number 3, start now, start slow, stick to your path. It shall be okay. I think that has answered. And that brings us to the end of our panel discussion. Asanteni sana.